Hello everyone, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of Arsenal's fantastic win out there in Switzerland this evening, beating Basel by 4-1. Not an easy place to go to. This is a team that's beaten the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea there in the past, and given that they are still flying in their respected league, it was always going to be a difficult game. But to put in the performance we have done, with arguably half the team being squad players, I think it shows what this Arsenal team is truly capable of achieving this season. To be 3 points off Chelsea in the league, to have topped our Champions League group, to have played considerably more games than the teams around us in the league, bar Manchester City, I think we've done incredibly well to be in the position that we're currently in. We're in such a fortunate position, and again, we have been spoilt by Arsenal this evening. 5 goals at the weekend, 4 goals this evening. I'm very much looking forward to that game at the weekend at home to Stoke, and so many positives that we can take out of tonight's game. Disappointing to concede right at the end there. Rush of blood to the head, it would seem, from Rob Holding, but nonetheless, to score 4 goals away from home in the Champions League, fantastic achievement that. And Ludogorets doing us a massive favour. Massive praise has to go to them, holding Paris Saint-Germain to a 2-2 draw in France. And I think we are worthy winners of this Champions League group. We've scored considerably more goals than PSG. Okay, we weren't overly convincing when we played them both home and away, but I think we certainly do deserve to merit being the winners of this Champions League group. So massive praise to Arsenal in that sense. Huge praise, of course, to Ludogorets for helping us out. And yes, we do have quite a few teams that could be difficult to play away from home. The likes of Juventus, Porto could be a difficult game. Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid potentially, Bayern Munich's the one I'm definitely looking at, and it's going to be a horrible feeling if we do draw one of those teams, considering we have topped the group. But I mean, it's luck of the draw, and we are going to have to play one of those teams at some point if we do want to win this competition, which I think might still be slightly beyond us. But the last time we did go unbeaten in the group stage in the Champions League was when we got to the final in 2006. So I mean, make of that what you will. But getting into the game tonight, it was simply stunning right from minute one. We saw quite a few changes in the Arsenal team. Lucas Perez lined up on the wing. Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil remained in the team. Those two were sublime tonight. They've had some absolutely mesmeric moments throughout the course of this game. We saw Iwobi reinstated into the Arsenal 11. We saw Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka line up in midfield. We saw Rob Holding come in, we saw Kieran Gibbs come in, David Ospina was superb tonight, coming in goal. Rob Holding, I thought, was immense at centre-half alongside Laurent Koscielny. He did make a few errors. He is only 21 though. I mean, it will take time, especially for a centre-half, to bed into this Arsenal team. But with Koscielny alongside him, he's got such a good mentor in this Arsenal team. And I was really disappointed for him at the end when he got absolutely turned inside out by Doumbia. I don't think he deserved that in this game. He'd had such a good performance, but with time and with maturity, that will come to Rob Holding. So it's good to have those players that can come in and do a job. Gabriel, once again, at right back, very sturdy. He's having some really good performances at the moment. Kieran Gibbs at left back, contender for man of the match if it wasn't for Lucas Perez, scoring 3 goals. Kieran Gibbs getting 3 assists, had a great understanding of Lucas Perez throughout the course of the game, got forward at every opportunity. His defensive work was on point as well. Fantastic performance from Kieran Gibbs. Xhaka and Ramsey was something I've been crying out for this season. We haven't really had a chance to see those two start in an Arsenal shirt alongside each other in a midfield pivot, and I thought at times it was the heartbeat of this Arsenal team. There were moments where they looked really good alongside each other. I don't think either of them had a particularly standout performance. I thought Xhaka was as solid as he ever has been. He certainly didn't have a poor game. Aaron Ramsey, I thought this was a real opportunity for him to make a claim to get into this Arsenal team, especially for that game against Stoke. Do I think he did enough to merit a start in this Arsenal team for the immediate future? Personally, I don't think he did. I think that midfield pivot is a little bit free roaming at times. I don't think we can rely on one of those two players to simply sit back and defend that back four. I think if we were to be playing, Manchester City away from home in a couple of weeks' time, I wouldn't trust those two lining up alongside each other. But it is something I've wanted to see for a long time. I'm pleased that we've learned how those two can play with each other tonight. But for the immediate future, for that game against Stoke, I do think Xhaka and Coquelin, I think they're better suited to each other for this moment in time. But that's not to say that Xhaka and Ramsey won't work at some point in the future, because they are players that have got similar qualities and should complement each other in the midfield pivot. We can't take too much from tonight's game because it was the first time they've lined up alongside each other in an Arsenal shirt. Iwobi, I thought he had a very good game in that second half. I thought he struggled to get into the game in the first half, but took his goal very well. The more I see him line up in an Arsenal shirt. I do think that he's more suited to playing through the middle as opposed to playing wide. If you look at his goal, he was bombing through the middle, and quite a lot of times in this game he didn't really stick to that left-hand side of the pitch. He doesn't religiously play on the flank. He does like to cut in a lot, and I do think heading forward it would be beneficial to his game, especially if we do start playing him in a more number 10 role. But whilst Ozil's in the team, that's going to be a difficulty, of course. Playing with inverted wingers is always kind of a struggle, but I thought it paid off really well for us tonight. Alexis Sanchez up top once again was immense. It was a real shame that he couldn't put his free kick into the back of the net. He certainly deserved to. It was a beautifully worked free kick. If it had just been a couple of inches lower, we'd have seen Alexis Sanchez on the score sheet once again. But Ozil again, I thought his link-up play was immense. Got an assist today. Lucas Perez, what can you say about the guy scoring 3 goals? We looked really good right from the get-go. I mean, it was an intense atmosphere. It's a difficult stadium to go to, and even at 3-0 down, Basel fans were still in full voice, so credit has to go to them, certainly, especially in what was a very cold, wintry away game. But yeah, Arsenal scoring that opening goal very, very early on through Lucas Perez. It was great work by Kieran Gibbs to play the ball through to Perez. Gibbs getting in the right position once again. And then Perez slotting it into the back of the net. Almost had too much time to think about it, but he didn't let that get to him. Didn't faze him whatsoever. Put it ahead of the Basel man, who really should have cleared the ball before it got to Lucas Perez. But 1-0 to the Arsenal. I'll certainly take that all day long. And then not too long later, Lucas Perez notching his second of the game. It was very fortunate circumstances. A great ball threaded through to Kieran Gibbs, who rifled it at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper for Basel was certainly questionable throughout the whole game. I think he could have done better on this goal, and he could have done better on Lucas Perez's third goal. But Perez once again in the right spot at the right time to make it 2-0 to the Arsenal. And then going out into that second half, Perez completing his hat-trick, a wonderfully worked goal, the ball falling to him, and then he with his weak foot put it in the back of the net to make it 3-0. The game beyond Basel at that point. And again, the goalkeeper should have done better on that goal, but Perez will certainly take that. That will give him a confidence boost. And I think heading into that game against Stoke, I mean, there's no real thinking about it. He does deserve a place in the team because his movement in front of goal was immense tonight. He took all of his goals really well. He was in the right positions at every opportunity. And I do think him playing in a wide position and then cutting into the middle, that really does work to his style of game. So for me, Perez starts at the weekend against Stoke City. Got some fantastic options on the flanks at the moment. But then not too long after that Perez hat-trick, we got our 4th goal through Alex Iwobi. Again, such beautiful work between Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil. Alexis with a wonderful lofted ball over the top, which Ozil latched onto, played it across into the path of Alex Iwobi. And I think, given the way Iwobi played in that second half, he certainly deserved that goal to make it 4-0 to Arsenal. And we could have had a few more at that point in the game. It's just a shame we couldn't take a few more chances. We did concede with about 10 minutes to go. It was sloppy from us. They brought Doumbia on. He's got a fantastic record in European competition. But again, rush of blood to the head from Rob Holding with the game beyond us at that point. Maybe he wasn't taking things too seriously. But I do think it's great to have an option like Rob Holding. But he does have to kind of get rid of those nitty-gritty mistakes that he made tonight. But for the time that he's played in his Arsenal career so far, I think he's been a fantastic option to have. Only 21 years old. The future looks very, very bright for Rob Holding especially. But 4-1 away from home. What more can you ask for? And there's got to be so much credit to this Arsenal team. As I say, 3 points off Chelsea in the league. We've got a winnable game coming up at the weekend against Stoke City. We've topped our Champions League group. Yes, we could draw a team like Juventus, Real Madrid, Dortmund, Bayern Munich. But we have to beat the best if we want to win this competition. Anyway, guys, those have been my thoughts on Arsenal's victory this evening out there in Switzerland. Please do get your thoughts in the comments box below. Just whilst I remember as well, I am doing a competition on my Twitter feed where you can win an Arsenal shirt of your choice. Whether that be the home kit, the away kit, or the third kit, you do have a chance to win that. So I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. My words are being really fumbled this evening. I'm just so unbelievably ecstatic with how Arsenal performed once again. We are really being treated as Arsenal fans. But as I say, guys, please drop a like on the video. Get involved in that competition as well on my Twitter. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game. And as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon.